The trade deadline wrapped up yesterday, and the Raptors were in the middle of everything. But guess what? Nothing happened. Nobody got moved. Nothing took place, but we acquired Jakob Poeltl. In the midst of everything, though, a lot of our players were in the rumors, in packages. So myself, Noor Zainab, Jelani Goodridge-Reid, and Justin Pooni will go through what was offered for Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, as well as Fred VanVleet. But first, Masai Ujiri took to the presser after the trade deadline around 4 o'clock kind of thing.
Yeah.
Got there like 4:10, took his time.
Yeah.
He has to, make sure he was well spoken before he got there. Maybe he was a little bit scared to take the podium as well. We don't know what it was, right?
So I took a page out of my book, coming late.
But he got up there, and I think for the first time ever, he looked a little bit sad, a little uncertain, and it just didn't seem the confident Masai that we've seen before. So, Stevie, roll the clip.
Growth is not linear, so we've had really a bumpy road, and that's what you expect sometimes with a young team. And we have a young team, and I think players have made progress individually, but as a team, it's been up and down.
All right, guys, we haven't seen Masai like this before. What was your takeaway from this press conference?
That Masai knows that this team's not it, and he knows that it needs some work. And I think that's why he was kind of kicking the can down the road type of thing, where he's alluding to selfish players, alluding to there needs to be changes, and that the same deals that were available now will be available in the summertime as well. I think Masai, and I think that kind of points to what you were talking about before, in his facial expressions and just his total mood. I think from what he wanted, and we'll touch on them in a second, the deals that what he probably wanted weren't out there. And I think the writing's on the wall for the Raptors that, like we talked about yesterday ad nauseum, that there's going to have to be changes. There's going to have to be major surgery.
Like
maybe something, right? There's going to have to be a shakeup of something of this core, right? One of these core players is going to have to be shipped out. And there's going to have to be some sort of change because it's stale. And I think Masai knows it. I think the coaching staff knows it. I think all the fans kind of know it too, and I think that's kind of why they wanted changes. But Masai decided to be patient, ride it out, and I guess kind of get one final look at who he can build this organization around going forward.
Yeah, I saw that he was talking, really optimistic about the future of this team because a lot of people wanted a deal or more deals to happen rather than just that Poeltl deal. Didn't see it, obviously, so he understood that the fans would, be pretty upset. And he's telling us, you know what, we're going to play for something still. He still does believe in his guys. He's been telling us for years that he believes in this group and believes that there can be a winner in Toronto. So I saw a lot of optimism. But same way, I do think that, like Justin kind of pointed out, he didn't feel like this was the time to make those type of deals that we thought were going to happen with OG, with Fred, with Gary. You never know what's going to happen in the summer. But right now he told us too, the trade deadline, sometimes you don't have to always pull the trigger. Even though we all were
expecting it,
kind of wanting that to happen, it didn't. But we've seen teams in the past, they don't always look to the trade deadline to pull the trigger. Sometimes they do wait a bit longer, see how they look, throughout the latter part of the season.
And they clearly were shopping this team during the trade deadline. Pretty much the entire core was up for sale. One of them, probably not the highest guy that they were looking to sell, but Pascal Siakam definitely made some noise after everything went down with the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie had to go, ask for a trade. KD wanted to stay there, maybe, but the Brooklyn Nets wanted to try to see if they can somehow make him stay there. And that's kind of when Pascal Siakam came up in talks, because Zach Lowe said Kevin Durant wanted Pascal Siakam. He wanted him to get there. He thought they'd be a really good fit together, and they could perhaps make some noise after Kyrie departed to go to the Mavericks. So what could they have offered for Siakam?
Well, I think you got to go back to that Dinwiddie-Kyrie trade where it was kind of held up for that day where they're trying to get that third team involved. I think that was going to be the move to try to get Siakam out, but it would have to probably been Claxton and Picks, and probably Dorian Finney-Smith would have to come through that trade back to Toronto, something along those lines, because we were hearing that they weren't going to move Siakam unless it was like a Godfather type offer, something to blow their socks off. But I don't think this is the end of the trade talks for Pascal Siakam. I think if he does have another All NBA season, which he's putting up numbers that he will, you're going to see teams call in the summertime because he's getting to that point. Again, that Supermax extension is coming up. Right. And the Raptors are going to have to be, okay, do we want to invest a full 5 years to a guy who's going to be 35, 36 at the end of that deal, and he's going to be making 40 plus, 40 max money, right? So it's going to be interesting. I think that OG's young, Trent is young. I don't think that this is the end of the Pascal Siakam trade rumors in Toronto because of his contract situation and the fact that you could really still get a haul from him in the offseason.
But would you say this is more so the rumors that would be surrounding his movement at that point, or the Raptors actually actively shopping him in the market?
I think it might be a mixture of both because, look, Masai now knows what each one of these assets is worth on the open market, right? Found out what OG's value was, Fred's value, Trent's value, Siakam's value, right? Again, it depends on how this season goes. And I think he's at that age, Siakam, where, again, we talk about OG's value not being at the highest it's ever been. This is probably the highest Siakam's value has ever been after he rebuilt it. Because remember, there was points where they're talking about if you trade him for Ben Simmons straight up, and that would have been a win for the Raptors, right? And now he's at the level where he could get those Godfather-like offers. And I think he's a good piece for a champion, a very good secondary piece, a secondary, tertiary leading role player for a championship team. In desperation,
but
right?
if you're seeing all these, and this is just me saying this, like if you're seeing all these teams make all these offers for Siakam, and you said so yourself, last year he was being compared to some guy like Ben Simmons, but now you're seeing that if teams want to get him, they have to include not just picks, not just all these things, but really, really good players, or he has the pull to bring guys in here. So if clearly Masai and Bobby and the organization are banking on this core right now. They're saying they believe in them, they want to see how far this can go. Would Siakam not be a guy that they want to keep?
I think they would want to keep him just because he's in his prime years right now, right? That could also, help him out in terms of the trade value, right? But I think because they feel like Scotty's the guy, coming up, of course. And then if they want to keep a guy like Gary because he's younger, you have a leader in Pascal right there for you who has, all NBAs, who has been to an All-Star game before. He's going to be, if you do pay him, he's still, the majority of that deal, he will be in his prime years. So maybe that's where Masai and them do believe that Pascal can still help them get somewhere, right? But on Justin's point real quick, I did say this a couple shows ago, like a couple weeks ago, that look for the offseason. There's going to be something happening with Pascal, right? Because, again, he is a very good player. And I did mention a team like the Suns, now they got KD, but a team out there that, feels like they're a piece or two away might want to look at him. But, yeah, I think he kind of fits the timeline. Because for me, what I saw yesterday is that they still feel like there's a shot here, right? So if that's the case, if you're telling me that they're still playing for something, then yes, you've got to keep a guy like Pascal.
To me, Masai just seemed like a really disappointed dad, teacher, watching his kids be like, I know you're better than this. Why are you guys fighting? Like, put all this stuff aside. But I've got this team now. We're locked in until at least maybe the first round of the play-in. Maybe not. Maybe the playoffs. Maybe not. Maybe you're just done after the season. We'll see what happens. Masai, Bobby, we still trust you, right? Justin, we still trust them. Jelani, still
I trust Masai, not Bobby. I trust Masai.
Oh, sorry. You pick your favorites. Pick your favorites.
Masai got final say.
I trust Masai and Nick Nurse.
We need your signature anyway, so that's all good. I know you're going to have your eyes over everything. Keep it locked. Homes and NBA. We'll see you next time.